Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning. How are you? So upcoming tomorrow is a Sivaratri festival. So that's why today we talk about who is Shiva. So it's a once a year, one time. There's a festival that we celebrate. And the biggest festival that is celebrated in India, the celebration is the celebration of Shiva. So you have to understand the language of symbolism, the language of image, the language of the subconscious. Because the subconscious work with emotion and with image. It's like in your dream. If you're dreaming of something, like you have some anxiety about something, then in the dream you would dream that you are being chased by some bad guy. And then if you have if you have some high feeling, then you dream that you are flying up in the air. You see your body flying up in the air. If you have fear, then you see you're falling down a precipice or a cliff. Yeah. So that's the mind. The mind's language of emotions, of feelings, of symbolism. So we need to understand the symbolism of who is Shiva, because our mind to understand the absolute, it's not possible. Our mind cannot understand the absolute, because our mind works with names and forms. Name means sound. So the sound, the mantra that represents Shiva is Om Namah Shivaya. So we chant like this, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So you can take the time to do some chanting, as long as possible, as much as possible. And then we have the visual image as well of Shiva. So I will explain today the meaning of thinking of Shiva, meaning of worshipping Shiva, meaning of why we need to bring this kind of thought in our life. So here you have the picture of Shiva. Okay, look at it very well. So I explain. So Shiva is the god of yoga. Okay? So those who come to the Sivananda organization, the greetings is Om Namah Shivaya. We greet each other, Om Namah Shivaya. So it's a mantra of Shiva because he's a god of the yogis. Yeah? He's the highest symbol of the yogis, those who practice yoga. He represents what yogis and meditators are aspiring toward. What do we want? So everything we want is included in that image of Shiva. He is considered to be the Adi Guru, means the first guru of yoga, and he taught the science of Hatha Yoga. That is now becoming more and more popular everywhere. So you look at him, then he has eyes half open and half closed. Some Buddha picture also you have this. Eyes half open and half closed. What that means? So this represents the ideal state of mind that you want to achieve, of being in the world and out of the world. I mean, you see the world, but you don't see the world. So last time I talked about the topic of detachment. So that's what it means. You see all the changes in the world, sunrise, sunset, leaves fall, wind, rain, season changes, people coming, going. We live in this world of changes, and at the same time, we try to see through the changes so you can see the essence of it. The essence of it is the spirit. We try to see through the world so you can see to the spirit. And we also, when you look at nature or phenomena, we don't think that it is just objects without spirit. So you see, you open eyes, you open eyes, you see the essence of every phenomena to be spiritual. So this is what we try to do, to see both, to see the world and to see the spirit, both. So sometimes you see also the picture, in my picture there it's not very clear, of the third eye open. Sometimes you see picture of Shiva with the third eye open. So what is that? Third eye is a Asha chakra, is the highest, one of the highest energy centers, and that's when your eye of intuition is open. The third eye represents the eye of intuition. When you bring all the energy up and you perceive things through the eye of intuition, the mind is being purified, because you cannot open the eye of intuition unless the mind is purified. Purified of what? Purified of this low tendency of the mind, with all the negative emotion, anger, greed, hatred, jealousy, envy, fear, that would just cover the intellect, cover your thinking. So intuition can be developed only when you have lifted your mind up and you transcend, the duality. You transcend the seeing with your split mind. If you see things too logical, it doesn't work. If you see things too emotional, it does not work. So the idea is you have to work on yourself. That is the practice of yoga, to balance out your split mind. Okay? So when you are in balance, then you're calm. You are not too much aggressive, active, and too much fearful, passive. You are very calm and balanced. At that time, you can transcend whatever that you see that push you to action, whatever that you see that make you stressed out and fearful, you transcend that view that is imperfect. So in the third eye, if you have your third eye open, that means if you function out of your higher mind, your highest level of thinking, your intuition, then there's also love in there. Intuition is not just emotional or intellectual, but there is pure love. So the way of thinking is not motivated by the limited sense of self, the ego. Okay? So that's why we like to look at a picture of Shiva, because he represents that. He represents what we want, the aspiration that we want to go up and to be balanced. So now Shiva is sitting on a tiger skin, which represents our lower nature. So it shows that if you want to elevate yourself or to be successful in yoga and meditation, we need to control our passions. We need to control our lower animal nature. And you see around a picture of Shiva, oftentimes you see all kinds of animals, insects, scorpion, all kinds. What that means? That he shows pure compassion for all beings, the good, the bad, the lowly, the high. He is a symbol of pure compassion and detachment. Okay? So we are all the time emotionally motivated. We like something, we dislike something constantly. But detachment and pure love is different. That means, you still see the suffering there, but you see through the suffering. And you have compassion. So Lord Shiva hold a trident. Yeah? It's like a fork with 3 branches, the trident. So the trident represents the 3 qualities of nature. Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. So when he holds a trident, basically, he go beyond the control of nature. It represents that. He go beyond the 3 gunas. So our journey is a journey of transcending the gunas, starting first by transcending the tamas. We remove the tamas out of our life. Tamas represent darkness and ignorance. Okay? Unawakened state of mind, denial of our true nature. So we need to overcome the tamas so we can get to the rajas. Rajas is egoism. Yeah, we experience our separate identity. We do egoistic, self-motivated action. We are judgmental towards others. We are seeking for happiness externally. That is called rajas. Action for selfish purpose. And then our journey moves us to the sattva state. Sattva state is experienced as purity, harmony, balance, calm, peace, wisdom, understanding, non-judgmental attitude, empathy, love. So then we come to that state of sattva. But eventually, we also transcend the sattva to go beyond the sattva to reach to the transcendental Shiva, pure consciousness. Okay? So Shiva is a symbol of transcendence, go beyond our mind. So anybody that is aspirant, there's something pushing you to do yoga and meditation. Basically, you want to go beyond the mind. You want to see something else that is perfect, beautiful, absolute. But our mind right now is trapping us only to see, certain dimension. And so we have to detach, move inward and see things differently and self-control. We need to keep the mind under control so you can see the big picture. Because changes, we make change, but oftentimes we refer to our physical change. We change location, we go from here to there. We change housing. But real change happens from within. You might not go anywhere, but you do yoga and meditation, and then you feel a change in consciousness. So, Lord Shiva, in the symbolism of Shiva, he has a snake around his neck. The snake represents the mystical wisdom. It's referred to the serpent power. Serpent power is a spiritual energy called Kundalini Shakti. So he has the Kundalini, Lord Shiva has the Kundalini as his decoration, ornament. Because he has completed the journey of self-transformation and of purification which we are on, which is represented by the journey of the spiritual energy through the chakra, from earth to water, to fire, to air, to ether, and to transcending the five elements, to go to the world of consciousness, pure consciousness. So he has a serpent power as an ornament. He has completed the journey. He represents this transcendental state. And he attained bliss. So when you are not caught in the Maya, the web of life, and you remember your true self all the time, then at that time you experience a pure state of being, the joyful state. There is no more lesson to learn about our true nature, so no need to reincarnate. You cannot make any mistake, because mistake can be made only when you are in ignorance, and also when you are involved in your ego, in the tamas and the rajas. You do wrong action, and then the action has the reaction. So you've been born and reborn again and reborn again in order for you to experience the objects of your desire. So whatever that we have in life is the result of our past thinking, our past karma. The present karma, called the prarabdha karma, is a result of the past thought, past desire, past thinking, past karma. But Shiva represents that which is beyond. Beyond the mistake, beyond the karma, beyond the wrong thinking that I am separate, I'm better than you, I'm worse than you. So he represents that. So when you chant his name, that's what you pray for. You pray for a state of being that is complete, that is blissful, that don't need anything externally. There's no more split, no more inside, no more outside. Yeah, you are in the blissful state. So right now, we are constantly struggling, between the true happiness that comes when you are in connection with the truth and connection with the self, when your mind is still, you can see the bottom of the lake, and the illusion that your mind projected constantly. So when you live in the world of objects and you forget the spirit, you forget yourself, you get lost in the name and form and sound and image, and even in religious thing, you might forget. Sometimes you just worship things but without really understanding. Then it leads us in the wrong direction, and we become fanatic, and we become ritualistic, and we become, somehow we think that God is sitting in temple and church, but we don't see it within ourselves. So that's why we talk about symbolism, so that you understand this is the real transformation. Here is a transformation within yourself. That everything outside, in fact, is to support your inner transformation and your inner realization of your true self. So, Shiva, in summary, you can say Shiva represents pure consciousness. This is what you are looking for, the pure consciousness. But Shiva and Shakti always the same. Sometimes you see picture of Shiva half and Durga half body. You can see Durga, who is a Shakti of Shiva, in this picture. So Shiva and Shakti are together. Sometimes they are together. Half body is Shiva, half body is Durga. It shows again symbolically, that's what you want. You want to be able to see, live in this world, don't run away, don't reject it, but don't think that it is everything. See the divinity, the spirituality in the world and out of the world. Okay? Sometimes the symbolism of being in the world and out of the world is represented by the lotus flower. That's why all the meditation groups or organizations, they like to use as logo or symbol the lotus. I have the new book. Those who didn't have, you can have. It's only the one book out of a series of 3. The other one, and it also has in front the lotus. The symbol of the lotus. So the book is called Sadhana for Self-Healing in English, in Vietnamese. Tự chữa lành thân tâm trí bằng yoga chuyên sâu. You can get it at Ho Chi Minh Center. So the lotus, the language of the symbol of the lotus, means being in the world and out of the world. The lotus is a very beautiful flower. It's very fragrant and it's very pure. It represents that purity of heart. And the lotus grow out of the mud in the pond. So smelly, mud is not very clean, not very nice. But the lotus, that's such a beautiful flower, came out of a pond of mud. So it represents that. And out of the struggle of life and all the impurities you see around, there is war, there is disease, there is people not very nice, and there is the struggle for material survival and competitive life, and people that are not behaving properly, and you live among it and you see all this. But at the same time, you have to perceive the pure consciousness in the world, in these people. And that is the lotus. This is what you want. So, Shiva and Durga. The Durga has many arms. So the festival of Durga is usually in September, October. There's called Navaratri. It's 9 days of festival of the Devi, of the goddess. So then at that time we're going to explain the symbolism of the goddess. But today we explain the symbolism of Lord Shiva. So Shiva and Shakti are together. So Shakti is a power of manifestation of Shiva. So Shiva is pure consciousness, and he created this world through his Shakti. Shakti means power. So one day there is a story of Shakti, or the Parvati, the wife of Shiva. All these stories is to teach us something. Use our language. So the husband and wife Parvati, she wanted to create a son of her own. So she go and take mud and create the boy, Ganesha. And she told the boy to keep guard of her house, of the door, and she go take bath. So boy is guarding door, and the master of the house is Shiva, he's the husband. He went home. And the boy, because he's created by the will of Parvati, so he didn't recognize the father, the Shiva, the master of the house. He said, "You cannot come in." My mother said, "You cannot come in." So Shiva had very upset and chopped his head. So the wife, Parvati, comes out and say, "Oh, my son, what did you do to my son?" So, of course, Shiva has to appease his wife and say, "Okay, I give you back your son. But you need to go and find an animal that just died and the head is going toward east." Eastern direction is a spiritual direction. So they found an elephant that just died, head toward east. So they bring the elephant. Shiva take the head of the elephant, and by his power, psychic power, he do some surgery, psychic power, and he put back the head of the elephant on top of this body of Ganesha, boy Ganesha. So basically, and he blessed the Ganesha. So what that means, the story, that means the Shakti cannot function alone. The Shakti means the power of nature. Yeah. So you see storm, you see heat, you see snow, you see, all kinds of things. But Shiva consciousness is there too. Shakti wants to do things on her own, but she cannot. So Shiva and Shakti are always together through that story. There's another symbolism, the symbolism of Ganga, the flow of water over the head of Shiva. So it's called the Ganga, the pure water. So it is said that in ancient time when the British carry the water from Ganga river in the north Himalaya, north of India, back to England. Any kind of water carried through these months, they had to go by boat, then arrive in container, then arrive, then the water is spoiled because it sit in the container for a long time. It lose all the oxygen, it lose all the nutrients, except Ganga water. So Ganga water has that property to purify, to nourish, so lots of energy there. So the Ganga water comes from the head of Shiva. This is a symbol of perfection and liberation. The story is she come from heaven, Ganga, but she's quite proud. And then when she comes straight from heaven, then it's too strong, the world cannot take it. So Shiva come and put his head under. So she has to come through Shiva, then she pour out and purify the world. So it represents also the nectar of immortality that comes from the highest chakra. Like you meditate, you bring all the energy up, And then when it comes to, the crown chakra, then it's pour out, symbolically. I mean, if your energy go to the highest level of consciousness, then you'll be radiating around and then you'll be purifying the whole world. That's what it means. Okay, that being that has attained that sublime state has the capacity to purify whoever come in contact with him or her. So now another aspect of Shiva is that he sits on the mountain top. His abode is considered to be in China right now. It's called Mount Kailash. It's the most sacred mountain that everyone want to go and to circumambulate, to go around. It's always in snow. So why Shiva will be sitting in the mountain top? Because he represents the austerity, the physical, the mental, emotional, and the spiritual austerity. And also represent this high goal, the mountaintop, icy mountaintop, represent the difficulty of the journey, to climb up to the mountain. So the mountain represents the high ideal. To be able to see in the world, to be in the world and see out of the world is a high advanced ideal. Hard to obtain goal. We get caught all the time. That's why in our journey we struggle, we stumble. The yoga practitioner is encouraged to struggle hard, to conquer the senses and the emotions, to do austerity, tapas, and lift his being to a high level of stability and endurance. If you are stressed, you do wrong, you collapse. So that's why you practice yoga so that you can have more endurance or resilience. We say stress resilience. So if you practice as a symbol of Shiva, then you remember that you need to struggle hard with your own mind, with your own illusion, with your own habits, your own wrong thinking. So you attain to that great power of endurance and resilience in any condition and circumstances. So this is what it means, being in the world and out of the world. I mean, whatever circumstances, sometimes people say negative thing about you, sometimes they persecute you, sometimes they sue you, sometimes they insult you, they look down at you. So all this you need to be able to accept and see through. So when you do physical tapas means austerity, and Lord Yoga, Lord Shiva represent also symbol of austerity. So we say already a few things, symbol of detachment, being in the world, out of the world, symbol of the achievement of the highest yogi, attain to the high pure consciousness. Now we say symbol of austerity. So physical tapas or austerity is to be able to bear heat and cold. Whatever happened to your body, whatever circumstances, you bear heat and cold. You don't get upset. You don't allow your body to dictate your life and your consciousness, and the senses to dictate your life. You bear. Heat and cold represent also the pairs of opposites. So when you bear the pair of opposite, yeah, because in this world everything comes in opposite. So then your mind will go up and down, up and down. But what you want is to stay calm. So you have to bear opposite. The more you go high, the more you go low. So the high and low of life, you bear it. Because you want to come to a place where there is no high, no low, where you are not depending from external factor to be happy or unhappy, but you are constantly thinking of the ultimate goal within you, and then at that time you are not affected by anything. So mental tapas or austerity is to be able to keep one-pointed concentration on your goal among distractions. So there's a lot of distractions. That means that you would have, your mind will lead you here and lead you there, and you want to try this and want to try that, and you live out in the world and you are lost. So but it is set the goal, when you repeat Om Namah Shivaya, pray to Shiva, so you will not be lost among distractions. So you remember your purpose of purification and of finding the transcendental, seeing the transcendental, and be free. So mental tapas help you to keep the mind concentrated. But the mind go up and down and get distracted because it's not strong, it's not quiet. And what is the emotional tapas? Tapas means austerity. The emotional tapas is to be able to bear insult, bear injury, stay calm among all conflicts and controversies. Okay? So stay calm and experience pure love, not the love and the hatred. And what is spiritual tapas? Spiritual tapas is the spiritual austerity. The highest tapas, spiritual tapas, is to dissolve the ego. I mean, try not to claim that you are right and somebody is wrong. Try not to compete. Try not to be proud. Whatever comes to you doesn't come from your own doing. So try to remember the grace. Try to keep the ego humble. Because if you are humble, you have a chance to grow. If you are arrogant, you are there to defend yourself. So try to keep yourself humble. All your achievement that you are proud of, know that it's not everything. Keep yourself humble so you can go further. There's always ways for you to improve. So talk a little bit more about the symbol of detachment. So you see Shiva has long hair. It represents detachment toward the appearance. He has no clothing. So represent detachment toward adoration of the body and try to shop so much of clothing. You try to make the outside beautiful. So he detached from that. The inner detached is more important than the outer detached. Inner detachment help us to be detached from our wrong thinking. We have opinion about everything. We have opinion about people and we get stuck to it. You don't allow yourself to see people differently. We have opinion about our achievement, opinion about ourselves, opinion about the world, about things. So the idea is detachment need to be long term. Okay? So that's why we need to cultivate discriminative intelligence, the capacity to question. Okay, so we talk about detachment, we talk about lasting detachment that come from your thinking, proper thinking, called discrimination, your deep thinking to see the defects of things, anything that your mind think that it is eternal, it is beautiful, and you lose yourself in it, you can see it's not true. Yeah, always things are changing. The beautiful flower is changing. So we have to think of the defects of nature, so then you can see through. And the temporary detachment sometimes you have is based on the fear of pain. Like you eat an ice cream and then you have stomach pain and you say, oh, never again. So that is detachment that comes from a temporary detachment that comes from fear of pain. But if you think and you know that ice cream is an illusion, it's made of water and ice, frozen water, plus some syrup, different color, and artificial sugar, and a nice name. So you use your discriminative intellect, you understand the true nature of ice cream, then you don't go there. Yeah, you will not fall into the trap of ice cream and have stomach diarrhea. Okay? So that's what it means. Sorry.
Mình có cần dịch nữa không ạ?
Con cứ tiếp tục đi.
Nhưng mà
Còn vài câu
bây
nữa
giờ không
thôi.
có dịch được nữa.
Rồi. Thử đi. Được không? Được rồi. So now you can translate. Okay, a few more sentences and we finish. Okay, so we talk about temporary detachment and we talk about permanent detachment when you are able to think. Okay, so we all time suffer and then we always blame and then we don't think that the suffering comes from our wrong thinking. So we are not learning. Okay, so we are not learning from our illusion. We keep repeating the same mistake. So detachment seems to give pain in the beginning, but at the end, it gives joy. Attachment seems to give pleasure in the beginning, but at the end, it gives pain. Okay? Our whole journey is a journey of detachment represented by Lord Shiva. So please get a photo of Shiva and you can contemplate. You can remind yourself of the detachment, the equanimity, the austerity, the purification, the blissful goal. Our whole journey is a journey of detachment. May you contemplate on Lord Shiva and stay away from the temptations of the low mind, the distortions of the imbalanced mind. Go always towards sattva or purity and see through the veils of illusion, of maya, and eventually be free. So the prayer, Om Trayambakam Jamahe Sugamdim Pustivadanam Urva Kameva Bandanan Mrichua Mukshya Mamritan Om Trayambakam Jamahe Sugamdim Pustivadanam Urva Kameva Bandanan Mrichua Mukshya Mamritan Om Trayambakam Jamahe Sugamdim Pustivadanam Urva Kameva Bandanan Mrichua Mukshya Mamritan. So this prayer is a prayer to Shiva, so that you'll be detached. Eventually, it says, eventually everyone will be completely detached and free. So now we're going to do a little arati here and then we end. So thank you. So remember tomorrow to repeat Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. As long as you can, minimum 108 times, multiply by 2 times, 3 times, or 100 times, okay? So may Lord Shiva bless you, and I will do a little arati.